Hey everyone, welcome back. And today we are going to configure our Calendly. Now, Calendly is basically very important. If you don't have a place where people could book appointments with you, how can you expect to have appointments, right? And that's why it's very imperative that we sort this before we start booking appointments, right? So, once again, welcome to Calendly configuration. In this video, we are going to set up a Calendly event and a thank you page. Thank you page is not something which I would recommend you do at this point. You can do it later on, but for now we can just like set up our Calendly event so that we get optimal show up rates. It's imperative we sort this before we start booking appointments, right? Always schedule people in on Calendly using the configuration below, even if you have to manually schedule them yourself. So let's say you call someone and they are like, you are asking them to book an appointment and they say just book it for me at 2 p.m. Just tell them, yeah, I'll do this, and just ask them all the questions if that is possible. Otherwise, just randomize them and add them to Calendly at any cost, because it will increase your show up rates by 20 to 40%, right? Now, starting with it, let's just set up Calendly. So first thing that I want you to do is I want you to go to Calendly. I think most of you people already have it, but let's say you don't have it, so you can basically click on get started and you can like create a new account. You can just sign up with Google. I'm just using this account to set up this, and this will allow Calendly to integrate with like calendar and things like that. So I would just allow that too, and yeah, that would just create an ID for me. Now you can have it from acquisition, like you can have it from gmail.com, or you can have it for like on your work email as well. How do you plan on using Calendly? You can have it with my team or on my own. Let's just keep it on my own for now. And what kind of work do? You can have anything here. You can have like consulting here, right? It does not really matter. They'll try to personalize your experience, but we won't actually need that, right? Now basically they have this 30 meeting. We are just going to delete this. Click yes, and now you're basically here, right? Acquisition calendly.com/acquisition freedom. That is one thing, right? Now we are going to create an event, new event type, right? Now event name is going to be discovery call, introductory call, or demo call. The first thing that we need from here is a one-on-one, right? You don't need a collective or a round robin or a group or anything. Just have a one-on-one meeting. Choose a host. This is going to be you if you have a team, so there are going to be multiple people here. You can choose them, then click on next. Now on the event name, you can have any of the event name. For now, let's take it discovery call, right? Discovery call right here. And then on location, we are going to, you can either have Zoom. If you don't see Zoom here, you can choose anything, but for now, like for the duration thing, I want you to keep it like 45 minutes. It may take like 1 hour, but just keep it 45 minutes for now. And that is because like 45 minutes is the time I would recommend you to have it based on the sales training that we have in the module. And also like 45 minutes I think is enough, and anything below that would be too less, and anything above that would be too long, right? Just keep it 45 minutes. On location, you can either choose Zoom, but with Zoom I would recommend you have a Zoom's premium subscription. I'm sorry, because with the Zoom premium subscription you'll have unlimited time. Otherwise what happens is Zoom only allows 40 minutes, and in that case, let's say the call goes for like 50 minutes, you'll have to end the call, make a new one, join it, and things like that. It looks very unprofessional, and I would not recommend Zoom unless you have a Zoom's premium subscription. But let's say you have a Zoom premium subscription, in that case Zoom is always more superior to Google Meet, and that's one thing that I would tell you. So if you have money to invest in, you can go and buy Zoom premium as well. Otherwise, just select Google Meet here. In case you don't find Google Meet here, just do anything for now, add custom or any such thing, but for now let's just select Google Meet. Again, if you see no option, we'll tell you how to integrate these later in the video. Now that is basically done, we'll continue. Now coming to this event detail. Now in description, we don't want you to add a lot of things. We just want you to add these two things. Let's scale your niche. So here we can say, let's scale your online business, let's scale your agency, or let's scale your gym, or let's say you work in sales, so you can say let's set up your sales system, or let's say you grow LinkedIn profile of users, so you can say let's grow your personal brand and things like that, right? So let's scale your niche for now. So here I'm going to type in let's scale your agency for now. And then this will be a audio only Zoom meeting. This is what I would recommend you to go. Zoom, yeah, Google. For now we are taking Google, so this would be a audio only Google meeting, and we are going to save this, right? That is basically done for it. Now for the event link, I'm not sure if the event link is like an option here. We will be doing it later on, but for now let's just keep it like this. Now going to hosts and invitees, nothing to change here. Now when we come here, when can people book this event, right? So now we come to the scheduling settings. Of course, a lot of things that I'm telling you here or in this video might change in the future, because there is a difference, like people keep updating their user interface and things like that, right? So in this case I would like recommend you to have an understanding of what we are basically doing here, right? So when can people book this event? So like invitees can schedule, I would recommend a date range of 4 to 5. 4 is optimal, 5 is at max where I would recommend you to go. Because like let's say someone books a meeting at 28th June and today is like 3rd or 2nd of June, they're most likely not going to show up because it's like a lot of days, right? So in that case I would recommend you just go for like 4 days into the future, and it would just lock it till here, and they can't book anything after 4 years, right? That is one thing I would recommend. Now the duration once again is 45 minutes. We have already done that. And now for the available hours, what I would recommend you to do is set your availability from 12 a.m to 11:45 p.m. That's like the whole day. Don't be afraid, like don't worry, we're not going to tell you to wake up at 2 in the night and have a meeting at that time. We will set the availability at the calendar level and not actually on Calendly, right? So what I want you to do here is I want you to basically edit this, and for this event type only you can do that. Basically cross these all out, and now add in the times from 11:45 a.m to 12 p.m, right? Or 12 a.m to 11:45 p.m, sorry, 12 a.m to 11:45 p.m. Right now I think we got it right. Yeah, that's basically for this. Now we are just going to do this for all of them as well. So now here, and we are going to do this at 11:45 p.m. I'm going to copy this, paste, and like that we have our hours here. For the time, I would say keep the time zone for your country. So like for India we have IST. I'm not sure why we don't have it here. INDIA, yeah, Indian Standard Time. We're going to have this here. Like most of you are from India, right? So that is one thing. We are going to save and close this again. Now what we are going to do is we are going to add time before and after our events, right? We want to add time before and after your events. So that is basically like buffer time. So buffer time right here, we are going to add it. And for buffer times, I would recommend you add 10 minutes after event, right? So that is basically like there are going to be gaps of like 10 minutes after like people book calls, right? So basically just add 10 minutes right here. For the minimum notice period, I would say you have it 4 hours. So like no one can book a meeting, at least like there needs to be a gap of 4 hours, right? What I mean by that is, let's say right now the time is 1 p.m, so no one would be able to book a call at like 2 p.m or 3 p.m or 4 p.m, right? People can only book a call at 5 p.m because that's like 4 hours later than the time, right? This is the minimum amount of notice that is required. For a daily limit, I won't recommend you set any such thing. For the time zone display, I think the time zone display should be somewhere here. Yeah, for the time zone display, just leave it at automatically detect and show the times in. And I think we have done this. We have set the duration, we have set the available hours, and for the after events we have 10 minutes. For the start time increment, this is also important. For the start time increment, I would recommend you start with 15 minutes. So by this what I mean is, let's say you'll your calendar would show times like 2:10, 2:15, 2:30, 2:45, 3, 3:15, 3:30, 3:45, 4, things like that, right? So when you have a very high call volume, you can go for 60, otherwise just go for 15, right? So in starting, I would say go for 15, and that is basically it for this, right? So we have done that. If it asks you things like secret event or any such thing, just say no, right? Now we are going to add in questions, right? So we come to booking page options. So now for this event link, so we had this event link thing here, right? Slash call. So we are going to do that slash, instead of discovery call, just keep it slash call. And now we are going to add in questions here, right? So we are going to delete this one. We cannot delete name and email, and allow invitees to add guests, we'll keep that here. Now we are going to add these questions. The name's already there, the email's already there, we are not going to add phone for now. And then we are going to ask, what do you sell? So for this, add new question and just copy and paste it from here. What do you sell? Control C and paste it here. Add a question mark. This is required. Answer type is multiple. Like I would say just choose checkboxes and add in more and more checkboxes, like are you a marketing agency, or no, like you can add things like SEO and website development, and you can add like performance marketing, and then you can add like we can add consulting, and we can add coaching, and we can add things like that, right? So basically these are some checkboxes. Now these are to be based on your niche, so I think you have a clear understanding of your niche. If not, we'll have a niche understanding module, like in the next module is about niche, right? You can also include other option, or you can just add one called other, right? So it depends. You can either add this or you can add other here, right? And that is basically it. Status should be on, and this is basically how you can do it. So right here, instead of having these, I want you to have, let's say you like which niche are you from, or you can ask what do you sell ki jagah, you can ask what do you serve, and then you can add things according to your niche. So let's say you work with gyms, so yoga classes in this, yoga classes, weight loss, supplementation, and things like that, you can add them here, right? So this is one thing. Then we are going to add, what is your target monthly revenue? So this is also going to be multiple based questions, and these are also going to be based on your understanding of the niche. So $0 to $5,000 a month, right? Or 0 or 5,000 to $10,000 a month, and you can add more and more here, right? So that is basically for this. Okay, I'll add one more here, other, and I'll remove this, and done, right? So that is for this. Now we want you to add, what is stopping you from hitting your monthly goal? So this is also going to be multiple choice questions. Now let me show you what our calendar looks like, so you'll have a better understanding of how we add these questions, right? So let's say I want to book a call right here. First of all, like we also have 4-5 days increment here. Let's say I want to book a call here, also 15 minutes, so like it's the same date. We go on next, name, email, what do you sell? So paid advertisement, funnel building, website SEO work. So these are based on our niche, right? We work with marketing agencies, coaches, and consultants, so they must be selling, like most of them must be selling these things, right? That is one thing. Then what is your target monthly revenue? Then it is like the target monthly revenue thing, which I was talking about right here in this question. Then what is stopping you from hitting your monthly target revenue? So it is going to be the most common problems that my niche faces, so like appointment booking, closing sales, agency operations, client retention, and things like that, right? So based on your niche understanding that you have, you can make these questions. If this is not like the right time, when you don't have any knowledge about your niche, you have not even selected it, you can just leave these for now. We'll go through the niche selection module, and then we'll come back to these, right? Now you can ask how many extra appointments you can handle in the next 30 days. This is basically like, you can leave it if you want, you can have it. It's basically to qualify them even more. and to show them that this is what we can help them in getting, right? And then this is important, are you the sole decision maker? So to add it, what you need to do here is we'll just copy it from here. Are you the sole decision maker? Control C, Control V. This is going to be a one line answer. We basically like yes or no right here, and we add it to. And then after this, through which platform was this call booked? This is also important so that you can track the data and you can basically do some research on them. So like let's say they booked from email, so you'll know, like you can check them on the CRM, and based on that you can have some prior information about them on LinkedIn or Facebook or places like that, right? Now this is also required. This is going to be a one line as well. And now we are going to add phone for text updates, right? So we are going to add this here, and this right here is important, phone for text updates, and this is required. And right here just add in phone number. So based on this, what happens is people can select the country code and things like that. So now it would not allow them to schedule it unless they type in like a pretty real number. So they can't type in like 9870 and just book it in. They'll have to at least type 10 digits. So like it also improves the show up rate and also gets you the real number, right? That's one thing. Now we sometimes, if you go through our calendar on some days, we sometimes asks for currently or like current monthly revenue, and that is because sometimes we have a very high call volume. We have like 30 appointments a day. So in that case, we sometimes ask people's current monthly revenue so that we know this is the person we want to work with and this is not the person. But I would not recommend this to get started. In starting, I would say just have all of the calls. We like sometimes if you check our Calendly, you'll also find we sometimes ask how willing and able the person are to invest in the growth side of the business. But once again, this is because we sometimes have a very high volume of calls. You should only concern yourself with financial qualifications once there is a high enough call volume that there is a genuine opportunity cost with talking to people who might not be qualified. So by this, what I mean is that you will only qualify people based on their financials or their financial condition when you are getting so many calls a day that there is a genuine opportunity cost. So like there is one guy who can spend like $10,000 on their growth, and then there is one guy who can just spend $1,000 on their growth, and you have so many calls that the 1,000 guy has booked in, and because of that the person with $10,000 capability is not able to book, right? So in that case, and that case only, you can have financial qualifications. Otherwise I would not recommend you to go with it, because lead qualification mainly from a financial perspective is a huge trap that 99% of business owners fall into. If you're not generating at least 6 to 8 calls per day, take every single call. We followed this rule to get Freedom Formula and Ad Honor, which was my done for you agency in the past, to $10,000 a month respectively. Take every damn call and do not prejudge people, whether people are like whether they will be a fit or not, especially based on their application and especially based on their financials, because you simply have no idea where the call could take you, right? So drop any ego and talk to everyone, because you never know if the person has a reference who can pay him the money, or if the person is sitting on a stockpile of money and things like that, right? So I want you to take every single call. It only makes sense to reject calls once you have a volume so high that there is an opportunity cost, right? Whereby, for example, someone qualified at 25% takes a slot that could be taken by someone qualified at 50%. This is the only reason we now sometimes ask these questions. We did not introduce them until we were like doing $10,000 a month and generating 20 calls a day, right? So I don't want you to do these at the moment. Just don't do that, right? Don't judge people and don't try to financially qualify people at this point. Now we took every single call that was scheduled regardless of quality. I have signed numbers of deals with people who I thought could not afford it, and I would not have taken those calls if I just asked them financial qualifiers, right? Now coming to workflows right here, once again, these are basically the things that we need to do. For confirmation page, I think it's somewhere later down the road, I'm not sure about that, but for confirmation I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to display this. You can redirect to an external site, but for now I would just say keep it like this. Links, and you don't want to do this, and basically that's it, right? We don't want to collect payments from this, we want to keep it free, and we are going to save and close this, right? Now for communications, if you have money to invest, I would say buy Calendly Premium, and in that case you will be able to send email reminders, email follow-ups, and text reminders, and calendar invitation. So for calendar invitation, I would say you just like leave it like this. You don't have to add anything here, because if you go through this, you don't need to do anything, right? Calendar invitations just on, and basically Zoom setup and all that would be told you later on. So just leave it like this. You don't need to change anything in the cancellation policy and things like that. Just leave it blank, and tick this include cancel and reschedule links, and that would be basically it. Save and close this for now. And now for email reminders, you can turn these on, but of course uh, for this, if you want to edit it and you want to have it like 24, and then you want to once again have a email reminder for 1 hour and 10 minutes as well. So email reminder for 1 hour before event, and then email reminder for 10 minutes before the event, right? The status is going to be on. You don't have to add anything in here. Reminder event name with Aditya at event time on event date, right? So this is basically going to be a reminder email that they're going to send. You can save this. Now for text reminders and email follow-ups, I want you to keep email follow-ups off. And for text reminders, now to turn this on, you again might need a premium, but again we are going to just keep it at text reminders 24 hour, 1 hour, and 10 minutes. So 24 hours, 1 hour, and 10 minutes before the event, right? So it is also going to send them text notification. So we have saved this. Keep it off, and you don't want to add any advanced workflows for now, and that is basically going to be it for this. Now we are going to save and close, right? Now this is also done, communication is done, booking page is done, and I guess that's basically it for now, right? So based on this, you can just close it if you still don't have Google Meet here. Now we are going to cover that, right? So now this is done. We are going to go back, and basically that's done, right? Now for like now sometimes the email thing and the SMS thing, it might work, it might not work. Now this thing totally depends, because sometimes, as far as I know, it requires premium, right? So I can't say that for sure, but if it's working out for you, like in this account it's working out for us for some reason, just keep it on. Otherwise you can leave these for now, and you can just call them manually. Otherwise it will just send them these reminders, right? You don't need any personalization or anything, right? So we have set this up. Now what we are going to do is we are going to integrate our Zoom, but before that we are going to integrate our Google Calendar. So what we are going to do here is we are going to go to all settings, and now let's see how we can add things here, right? So you can upload a picture so that people know this is you, and it just gives you more and more authority. So you can have that for like the time zone. I would say again have India right here. They won't let me search it, but I think in Asia India would be somewhere here, India standard time, and you can have it. You can save the changes. Now what I want you to do here is I want you to go to calendar sync, and I want you to add a calendar account. Now if you made the account with Google, it would already have your calendar here. Then in this case what you need to do is you need to like add the calendar account, add the ideally Google Calendar you want to integrate. So you can also add up to 6 calendars here. Now what I want you to do is I want you to add the calendar in. Now I want you to click here, check for conflicts. Now this is going to be the main account. Let's say you want to add, like you already have a calendar and it's already sorted out. So now in that case you won't be able to add it here. So now what I would recommend you to do is I would recommend you to remove this, and I would tell you that you basically like just go to this tasks thing. You can add a new calendar, you can create a new calendar, you can name it meetings, You can leave the description, keep the time zone according to yours, create a calendar, and I think like it would just add a new calendar here, right? Okay, so now basically we have this calendar thing open here now, so make sure you're on meetings tab. We'll cross these out too. Let's say on 4th I have an exam, and that's why I won't be free from like 11 till let's say 8, right? So I'll name this exam right here. I'll save this, and now if you basically go to your calendar sync thing right here, you can add meetings to this point. You can update it, and for add to calendar you can have any, I would say just have meetings. It really won't matter. And when you have this, now let's say this all thing would be updated. One more thing, we got a 15 days trial, that's why we were able to add the SMS and email thing. Now after 15 days you won't be able to send those updates, so for that you'll have to buy the premium thing, right? So now let's just copy this meeting link and let's see if this calendar configuration was good. So we did it on 4th, right? On 4th of June we won't be available from 11 a.m, right? So 4 a.m, 5 a.m, 6 a.m, 7 a.m, 8 a.m, 9 a.m, and then after 10 a.m we are not available from 11 a.m, right? And because of the buffer time and everything, you cannot see those slots right here, and that means our calendar is configured with our Calendly, right? So now let's say you have any such prior appointment. Let's say there is a doctor appointment, you can just put it right here and you can name it doctor in your calendar, right? So now just try to habitualize that you are blocking everything out in your calendar, in the meetings tab as well and in the main tab as well. This is one thing which I would recommend you to do. And now you have your main calendar integrated, right? Now for the Zoom integration, what you can do is just go to integration and apps, and you will find Zoom somewhere here itself. You can just search for it, I guess, if they would allow that. For video conferencing, you can just go to Zoom and you can connect Zoom for myself or for my organization, and then you just connect Zoom and it would ask you for your Zoom sign in details, and you can connect Zoom as well. So now what would happen is, if someone creates a meeting with you, they will have a link and everything, and it would also be marked on your calendar and their calendar, right? Now for Google configuration, like I said, we are going to configure our Google, right? So now instead of the meetings tab, let's just do it on the main one. Let's say you are just new to Google Calendar and you did not make this. Now what I would want you to do is, I would want you to start by setting up your sleep timings, right? So let's say you sleep every day at 10. So I would just create it like this. From 10, let's say you wake up at 6, right? So let me find this here. Yeah, 8 hours, right? On this, does not repeat it to daily, because you sleep daily, right? And now that is basically done. On the color thing, you can choose anything. I would say just go with basil. That's what I choose for myself, and you can save it. So now you have these things blocked out, right? Now let's say from 6 to 10, it's your time to fresh up. So this would be 6 to 10. On doesn't repeat thing, it repeats daily as well. This is you getting ready, right? And that thing is saved. Now let's say you want 2 to 3 p.m for lunch, or 2 to 3:15, right? You can have it here, lunch, and you can give it like a red color. And sorry for that, we were not able to edit it. Now for this does not repeat, you just change it to daily, because you have lunch daily. And now let's say you want a family time from 6 to 7, right? Let's say this is family time, so you can have it here. You can change the color again to something like this, and I guess this also, let's say, repeats daily. You can save it. So now people won't be able to book an appointment during these times, and they'll only be able to book appointments at these times, right? So this is what I would recommend you to go with. For this also, I'd edit the title, and I would edit it as sleep. So like this, you can make a calendar for yourself. If you need any help for the calendar, you already have a person assigned, right? So in that case, you can have them do this. And now since we did it on all days, if you go here, it would already be booked. If you go here, it would already be booked for all the days, right? That's how you set up the calendar. Schedule your sleep, schedule your meals, schedule any other commitments that you have. And I want you to habitualize scheduling out time when you are not free. So for example, let's say you have an appointment with the dentist, just schedule it out so that no one can do that, right? Set events to recur daily, weekly, to avoid having to redo this every week, right? Now this used to be my calendar and things like that, so make sure you at least have like 6 to 8 slots a day for calls. This is something I would recommend. So like 6 to 8 slots would be more than enough. Availability is the best ability, right? So that's basically it for setting up the calendar. If you have any question by any chance, feel free to contact the person who has been assigned to you. They will help you with calendar configuration and everything, right? So this was basically it for Calendly configuration. I'll see you in the next one.